Hi everybody, it's Claire from Room for Reflexology. I'll try and manoeuvre myself so it doesn't look like I've got a pair of feet on my head. It's really hard to make sure I get everything right here. Right, okay. Today I'd like to chat with you a little bit about gentle touch reflexology, what it actually is, how it works, and whether it's something for you. Now, there's a lot of people out there that are really sceptical about complementary therapists, but there's quite a movement at the minute going on of the medical professions beginning to recognise that complementary therapy really does have a place within the medical model and the NHS. There's actually a white paper being presented to the House of Commons to suggest that it could make a huge impact financially on to take off some of the burden of the NHS if they will embrace complementary therapy, because it's being recognised now, even though there's very little hard research out there, but that so many complementary therapies can have a really significant impact on people's well-being, on their general health, especially those people that have reached the end of what we'd call the medical model journey. Now, I don't know if any of you have heard of Dr. Chatterjee. He's done a few series on television recently, and he's written a book about stress, and he's a real advocate of reflexology and says that it can have real part in the kind of stress management process. And then recently there was a series about palliative care in a hospice, who have recognised that having complementary medicine therapies, as well as other kind of therapies, can just enhance people's life in such a way that maybe they'd reached a point where they thought they were reaching the end of their life, but actually having opportunities to have reflexology or acupuncture or go and do some other kind of therapy has really lifted them so much and significantly emotionally that they've been able to cope and have actually gone on to have a better quality of life. So much as there isn't a lot out there to really support all these therapies, I think people are beginning to see that they do have a place. Now, some people might think, well, it's just hippie stuff, tarot cards, crystal balls, that sort of thing. But reflexology has been around for centuries. There's actually images on the inside of the Egyptian pyramids to show the Egyptians carrying out reflexology on each other. And in the early 1900s, before there was modern medicine as we know it now, antibiotics, anaesthetics, there was a number of Russian doctors that used reflexology in a very basic form to support soldiers who'd been in the war for their recovery and to stimulate them to improve their healing. And also support them during operations. And in fact, a doctor called Dr. William Fitzgerald, he went back to America, and this was pre-anaesthetic, and he started to use reflexology on people's feet as part of the process of preparing for operations, because he discovered something called zone therapy, when he found that if he connected certain points on the feet, it had a numbing effect on the organs within the body. So right back then, people were beginning to see that there was an explicit connection between the feet and the body. It wasn't until a lady called Dr. Eunice Ingram went on, and she did a lot more research and pulled a lot more things together in terms of the work that had been done around accessing the body through the feet. And she is the founder of modern reflexology as we know it now. Gentle touch reflexology is very similar to traditional reflexology. The only difference is that I use an oil. I have a slightly different routine to perhaps what people may have experienced before with reflexology. And it's light. It's exactly what it says on the tin. It's soft, it's light, it's non-invasive. So it's amazing for babies, children, elderly people, people who are dealing with pain management, people who just don't like the feet being touched particularly. And contrary to what many people might believe, it doesn't tickle, which is fabulous. Anybody can have gentle touch reflexology. My mentor, the lady who actually trademarked Gentle Touch Reflexology, Sue Ricks, she's done a huge amount of work with Gentle Touch in America, working with premature babies, and has actually had the opportunity to work on premature babies to support some of their delayed physical development, and has had the most incredible results. So how does it work? Well, there's lots and lots of different theories out there about how it works, but for me personally, I like to think of it from the perspective of science, the physics aspect of it. We are made of energy. Every single cell in our body, every little nucleus in our body has another organism in it called the mitochondria, and the mitochondria is the powerhouse of our body. It's continuously creating energy to keep our organs functioning as they should, to keep our systems in balance. Now, that is moving around our body all the time, and you only have to touch something sometimes and get a static shock to know that we have got an energy moving around us. And that energy comes out through our hands and our feet due to the forces of gravity. So when I connect with a client, I literally connect with that energy that is coming out through those two different points. I mainly work on the feet, but you can work on the hands. Now, energy, because it's moving around us all the time, it can, due to lots of things that happen through our lives, start to either slow down or get stuck. You think about viral infections, bacterial infections, accidents, injuries, operations. They all start to invade our cells, and that can have an impact on that cellular energy, which then also can have an impact on the energy and the way it moves around our bodies. And that energy does get stuck. And that's sometimes how we experience different symptoms throughout our body. Now, in Eastern medicine, it's called Qi, and that talks about, again, the flow. So there are many, many cultures throughout the world that talk about the way in which that energy flows around our body. And actually with age, that flow starts to slow down, as many other things do, because that cellular growth starts to slow down as well. But that doesn't mean to say that we can't use reflexology to support that energy and to keep that energy flowing. So by touching on the reflexes, what I do is that I encourage that energy to start moving in again, and then the body works with its own natural healing. We're all different, we're all unique. Now, you only have to think about two people that may go into hospital to have the same operation. Some people, it may take them a matter of days to recover from it. Some people, it can take them weeks. Some people, it can be months to recover from an operation. And that's because it's about their own healing process. And that's just the same with reflexology. I have some clients that have a virtual immediate response to it, and other people, it can take a bit of time, because it's about their body. It's not about what I'm doing. I'm just a facilitator. It's about their own body starting to move that energy around and use it as it needs to be used. Now, I've spoken a lot about that, and I hope that some of it makes sense to you. If you want to know any more information, please don't hesitate to get in touch with me. I try to get back to people as soon as possible. Have a look at my website, which I will put below as always. Follow me on Instagram as well, if you'd like to follow me on Instagram. But any questions, please don't hesitate to come back to me, and I will endeavour to get back to you and answer as many questions as you have. As always, thank you so much for listening. Take lots of care of yourselves, and I look forward to maybe meeting some of you in the future. Thank you.